What's up? So we are live, and so today we wanted to share our birthing journey and experience. We are live on Instagram, we are live on Facebook, answering any of your questions in regards to how to have a painless natural birth. Yes.
Painless for you.
Painless for me. Okay.
It was.
We'll talk about his in a little bit, but we wanted to go ahead and just dive right in. A lot of you guys had a lot of questions for the mothers to be. Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations. Look, this is about to be beautiful for y'all. Congrats. Congrats.
Yeah, so congratulations to all the new moms to be, new fathers to be, and just like going through the whole like pregnancy process from beginning to all the way to when baby Adele has arrived. First of all, a lot of you asked, how did I know when I was going into labor? Feeling these surges, are also known as contractions. I studied a lot of hypno birthing throughout the process, which I'll share a little bit. But my first surge was at 1 a.m. on June 23rd. And yes, my due date was the 4th, but actually when I went to another ultrasound tech, she said that my due date was actually going to be the 23rd based off of how he was measuring. So technically I think he came when he was supposed to. But I was also talking to him throughout the month of end of the month because you need to come when my mom is here. And literally, you guys, I feel like he was listening because my mom came in on the 25th. My surgery started on the 23rd. On the 24th, I went into the hospital where I was 4 centimeters dilated. And all I kept saying was like, please, Adele, wait another day, wait another day, wait another day. And lo and behold, 1:35 started.
Truthfully, I think he didn't expect it. He wasn't as big as he could have been. Mm-hmm. You know, so if he would have got to 8 pounds, whew, you know, it would have been real.
And then in regards to choosing a birthing center, so 2 water birth centers here in the state of Georgia. The first one is Wellstar North Fulton Hospital, which is located at the Atlanta Birthing Center, which is downtown. Water birth, there's, I guess, more, I don't know, they don't want any kind of like lawsuits or anything like that, but it's definitely possible. And so I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to have a water birth. I wanted to have a natural birth.
Let me just get something in right there.
Okay.
Right. Listen, to my fellas out there, when your woman says she wants to have a natural birth, I mean, in our heads, it looks completely different, right? But I must say, it actually is a better way to deliver the baby. The mother has a lot more alertness and understanding of her body, and the baby comes out way more aware. So I will give props to this whole natural birth thing for sure.
Yeah, and also I want to touch on that. So in regards to the natural birth, Aaron didn't understand at first. He's like, why don't you just get an epidural like everyone else does?
Yeah,
why don't you just do the normal thing? And I was like, no.
Right.
And no offense, but this is like a Western mindset where birth is taught as if it's painful, it's horrific, it's terrifying, and you're taught that from a young girl, and you're taught almost to be afraid of giving birth. When at the end of the day, you have to go back into history. They didn't have all these medicines that we have today in Western culture. And women have been delivering naturally for centuries. And there's so many books I've listened to, which I'm going to share, where they talk about women in Egypt, where they would go to the garden by themselves and deliver their baby by themselves and come back from the garden with their baby in their arms. And they delivered it themselves. The fact that throughout ancient history, women have been delivering healthy, beautiful boys and girls without any anesthesia lets you know that it is possible.
Yeah. So in that being said, technology has advanced, right? And with the technology advancing, it's kind of shifted the course of the way women have babies. In my mind, you know, from all I had ever known was woman goes into the hospital. When they get to a certain level, they have an epidural. Epidural kind of takes care of everything. You know, my wife didn't want to do it that way.
Yeah, but just to let you guys know too that, I mean, any way you deliver your child is okay. If you have a C-section, if you have an epidural, if you have to get induced, at the end of the day, you are delivering this baby into the world.
Facts.
And so even if like your birth plan is to go natural and it doesn't happen that way, don't think yourself as less of a woman or anything like that.
Nope.
At the end of the day, you are still an amazing woman, and you're still going to be an amazing mother, and you still, you know, gave life. You're still what we do inside of our bodies is absolutely magical. It's absolutely. What app did I use for contractions? So there's tons of different apps out there. I had I forget which app I was using to track the baby, but there's a just contraction timer, and literally every contraction I would hit start, I would hit stop, just to let me know, like, okay, when my contractions were basically every minute or every 2 minutes, and then how long they were. And also, okay, women, we know our bodies, okay? I'm gonna say this because I was telling Aaron, like, I need to go to the hospital, and he's like, oh no, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Oh no,
All right,
you're
we
fine.
on this already. Okay, so look, this what happened. All right, so we went to the hospital twice, and they sent us home. They sent us home, right? So after that last time going home, I was like, look, we need to go when it's go time. You know what I mean? So I was just watching it to see where she was, and I didn't quite understand where she should have been, but I'm glad we left when we left.
Okay, also, you guys, when I was the third time I went to the hospital, thankfully my mom was here, who had 6 kids, so she knew, like, where I was at. At the eve that morning of it was the 25th. No, yeah, the 25th. So on the 25th, basically, we were in the hospital. I was at 4 centimeters, and they sent me home. When I came back, they had me go home and rest, because they were like, how about this? You go home and rest, and after you get some rest, when the contractions start again, then you come back and she told me, like, I should be, like, screaming and cursing and all that stuff. I never screamed, I never cursed.
That's what I was looking for. Those are the signs I was looking for.
That's exactly. So he was looking for me to, like, screaming, cursing, like, angry, like, get me to the hospital, blah, 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 blah. That never happened because, again, my breaths, which I'm going to go into shortly, I was just so focused on my breath, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, really focusing on the lion's breath. The lion's breath is like, and you really, like, breathe in, and then you breathe out through your core. So with the surge, if you think about it, a contraction is really just the muscle. Your uterus is expanding to work and contract to get your child out of the womb. And so it's similar to, like, working out, when you have to breathe through your muscles as you're pumping that iron to get to that last pump. And ladies, you can even practice this right now, and you can feel it in your core, and you're basically breathing through the contraction, you're breathing through the surge, and that's going to help reduce the pain level, the discomfort, and you're breathing through the process. You're really just being in tune with your body in this moment. And that is the breathing that I had through every single surge.
I will say that the power of oxygen to the body, some people don't understand how powerful it can be when you breathe through, a lot of situations, stressful situations where you're emotionally distraught, working out, exercise, or whatever. There's a lot of benefits to really using oxygen to benefit the body, and you did a good job with that, bro.
Yes, and so when there was one surge which I knew it was time to go, and it was the most intense surge where it got me to the point where I was crying, and it was the longest surge, and that was about around 3:15, 3:30 in the morning. And at that point, my mom looked at me and she said, we need to get to the hospital right now.
She came upstairs. She said, look, hey, get your stuff. We leaving right now. I said, yes, ma'am.
Yes, and my biggest concern is we actually live 50 minutes to an hour away from the hospital. So I knew that I don't want to have this baby in the car, and you can really go from 0 to 100 like real quick. Yeah. And so thankfully we're in the car, and surprisingly, like, in the car, I just was listening to my Hypno Birth music, which the playlist that I listen to is on Spotify, and it's literally called Hypno Birth Affirmations. I'm going to share that link below. And I just continued to listen to that. I focused on my breathing the whole car ride. When we get into the room, she checks me. I'm 7 centimeters dilated. And she's like, okay, we got to get you into the room. As soon as we get into the room, within the hour, my water breaks, and I get into the pool. And I was just like, if we had waited any longer, like,
it's good we left.
Yes, we basically left right on time.
That was great, honey. You're right.
So I was listening to my body.
Yeah.
And thankfully, also, I had a doula, so I let her know. And the doula that I have, her name is Jennifer Rivera.
Oh, the doula. If you are going natural, do not do it without a doula.
Yes.
Do not do it without.
Yes. If you're in Atlanta, Beautiful Creations. That is her. I'll share her link too. But she was absolutely phenomenal when she got there. She got there at 5:30 in the morning, and she really walked me through everything. Phenomenal. And she's also going to be my postpartum doula. She's actually coming on Thursday. So usually with the doula, they're really just helping go through your breathing. She's the one who taught me about the visualization. Like, when we first met, she's like, really work on visualizing this birth of how you want it to be from beginning to end. And so going backwards a little bit in regards to the preparation of the birth is I did a lot of meditation, where I would focus on my breath, the lion's breath. I did a lot of meditation where I visualized him coming into the world. She talked about envisioning like a lotus flower, like opening up and you like pushing him through the canal or breathing him through the canal and then having like a flower bloom.
That's real.
So it's like a beautiful like process, like as if he's coming from the earth.
That's real.
and he's you know, hello, I'm here. Along with
so a lot of visualization.
Yeah, a lot of visualization. And then also
okay.
I took a lot of baths toward the last month because I knew I was going to be in a pool, a warm pool, and so I would do my pelvic thrust, my breathing, my stretching,
Your
my positioning.
Your positioning was important.
Yeah,
man.
the
That was very
positions that I
important.
would use. And I can't really show you right now, but I will demonstrate later.
And I will say this: it's no different than preparing for a performance. You know, whenever you're getting ready to play sports, there's preparation, a lot of preparation before the actual event. This is no different.
Yes,
all right, there's a lot of preparation, so you don't just go into this whole mindset of I'm gonna have a natural birth and just show up at the hospital ready to go. There's so much preparation on the back. So
yeah, like he was saying, like you don't go run a marathon and you're just like, I'm just gonna run this marathon today. You prepare for that marathon. You go for a mile run, a 3-mile run every single day until you build up to that marathon. With women, we are giving birth to life. Like we have to prepare. What are we eating in our body? Are we moving and are we exercising? How is our energy level, our mindset, our mood? Like this all plays into the baby, and he's equally working to come into the world with you. So that connection you have with him is going to be really key and really critical as well. And so it all starts from the beginning. Again, exercise, nutrition, meditation, mindfulness, breath work, practicing your positioning. I did a lot of yoga the last month as well to make sure to open my hips, just in everything in preparation for him coming here. And then
there's a question.
Okay.
There's a question that I'm interested about answering this one. Hogan 324 asks, would you do it again?
I would. So the next one, and this is my mindset. After the birth, Aaron was like, I don't know if you want to have another one. And I'm like, I'm the one who gave birth. He's going to talk about his experience in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I knew that, like, is this really your first child?
Yeah, they were thinking that this was a second child for her.
They were just so amazed by my calmness, by my performance. They're like, you need to teach a class. And I know, like, the second birth, they always say the third child is always easier. It's always just happens faster.
And I'll say this for the fellas. When you get into that birthing room, the heat is on. And it's like everyone looks at you to be the coach and the provider to, keep your woman and keep everything under stress. And, there's so much going on at that time. There's so much going through your head. You don't really know what to say. So that's why I say that doula is so important to be able to provide that coaching, that like consistent coaching as the birthing experience is happening.
Exactly.
But what I did to provide some support, the touch was very important. You know what I mean? Just making sure you can release any kind of stress anywhere you see it. Mine came in the form of just, rubbing her back. It came in this holding her hand, whatever. It just made her feel at ease. There was one moment where she was like, I was just chilling in the back.
Okay, no, not just chilling. Okay, let me cut him off real quick.
Go ahead.
So Aaron, he's gonna share his experience, but literally he was like more shock and more pain than I was. He was he was stressed out more than I was. Literally, I was in a trance, closed my eyes the whole time. And I told him before going to the hospital, honey, I need you to touch me the whole time. I feel like he was just like, let me, the doula's here. Let me just go ahead and hide over here in the corner and maybe nobody, notices I'm over here.
No, she was like, no. And the doctors were like, is everything okay? Do you need anything? She said, Aaron, I need Aaron here.
So he
right
said,
now.
no, first they said, Aaron, you need to go over there. He's like, oh, well, I'll just go over there if she needs me.
That's right.
If she needs me. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? So I said, Aaron, right here, right now. And this is right before the baby came. And then he was like, okay, I'm over there. And I'm thinking to myself, he should have been over there the whole time, y'all. Man, you need to be with your woman the whole time.
Man.
Thankfully, I had a doula.
Yeah, the doula was great. But yeah, the support from the man, from the dad is super critical. Super critical.
And I would definitely, and now after also having a natural birth, I'm considering maybe having a home birth. Obviously, Aaron, we would have to talk about that. But because it was such like a smooth nice process, I would consider having a home birth. I know someone asked that. Before going back into the whole experience, I wanted to answer a couple other questions. Was Aaron able to cut the cord? He was able to cut the cord. Not specifically how we wanted him to cut it, but we'll share that just in a second.
And just on that cutting cord situation, in certain hospitals, they just do the process without any kind of acknowledgement that you may want to do it. It happened with my first son, right? We had a C-section, and in my mind, I was like, I gotta cut the cord, but I didn't communicate that to anyone. So when time hit the fan, when it was time to go, they went ahead and did the whole process, and I didn't even get to do it. I didn't get to see or anything. Everything was behind a blue apron. So if you are, as men, it's important to us, right? If you do want to cut that cord, make sure you vocalize it. Make sure someone knows you want to do that, so when the time comes, everything's ready.
And then also need to know, like, make sure you're doing everything.
Okay.
And another thing too is, one thing that's great about birth centers is you can create your birth preferences, and you can share that with your midwife, and you can share that with the hospital, and then they do their best to actually abide by what it is that you want in your birthing process. Like, if you don't want any anesthesia, if you want your husband to, or spouse to cut the cord, how you want the room set, etc. Like the room, I was able to have my Hypno Birth music meditation playing the whole time. I was able to have my incense, the smells, like basically to help me stay calm. I was allowed to eat. I was allowed to drink water.
It was a whole vibe.
Versus in the hospital, they might not allow you to have any food. They might not allow you to have all that in there.
Yeah.
They allowed me to try multiple positions that I wanted. So they was like, it's whatever I wanted and how I wanted the birth process to be. That is the difference between a birth center and then also a hospital. Also, at a hospital, usually surgeons deliver babies versus midwives. In other countries, it's very common for a midwife to deliver a baby. A surgeon would only come in if there's a medical emergency, for example. But and then also someone asked, how did I like? So I went through Nile Women's Healthcare, which is in Roswell, and they are connected with Wellstar, North Fulton, Atlanta. And I'm telling you, the staff there, absolutely phenomenal.
Staff hands down.
Every single midwife was phenomenal. They have multiple midwives, which you meet all of them, just so that way.
If I can be honest though, I wasn't too impressed with the facility, right? But the staff was incredible.
Yeah, but going back to the midwives, all of them were very acknowledgeable, hands-on, very supportive. They just make you feel like you are so empowered in this birthing process. And yeah, I would just, if you're in Atlanta and you're wanting to have a water birth, highly recommend Nile Women's Healthcare, and highly recommend North Fulton, Atlanta Hospital. And if you're in the city, Atlanta Birth Center is also great as well as what I heard, because they've modeled their process off of the Wellstar location in North Fulton and Alpharetta.
Someone asked, did I get to put him on my chest? I didn't get to put him on my chest, but as soon as he came out and I cut the cord, I kissed him, said my prayer over him. So it was a very special moment. Very special.
Yes.
moment.
And then in regards to the Hypno Birth, I did not take a class. I literally just listened to books. Some of the books is Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, Supernatural Childbirth, Hypno Birthing, the Mongan Method, and the Healthy Pregnancy book. Those are all books that I studied. Breathing, breath work, I've been meditating for a long time. So I would recommend just like look into meditation. Really all you have to do is practice maybe 3 minutes a day and then increase from there. But when you're meditating, it's just like coming into your center and really just focusing on becoming in tune with your body. And if you're pregnant, what I did a lot was like focusing on the baby and connecting with him while I was meditating. And going back through the pregnancy and the actual labor experience. So back to the water. So I'm in the water, and again, the surges are happening. And one thing that's great about the water is it's so soothing.
It's warm.
It's
very warm.
They have it about at close to 99 to 100 degrees. And so when you're in the water and the surges are happening, it's almost as if you cannot feel them, because if you're doing your breathing in through the nose, and the warm water on your stomach is just, it's so like euphoric and relaxing. So every surge in the water, again, I had my eyes closed. I was doing different positions, and I was just really breathing and focusing on them. And it's almost like every breath is when that flower begins to open up more and more and more. And what that is like my vagina begins to dilate more and more and more.
So, honey, the terminology you've been using, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk on that a little bit, because
Okay.
contraction, surges.
Okay.
Why do you use the terminology that you use?
So in regards to hypnobirth, they have different terminology than like the medical terms. So for example, medical terms, a contraction is when you're having, the pain in your stomach. Whereas in hypnobirthing, a surge, it's called a, it's called, they basically call it like a pleasurable sensation. It's a pleasurable sensation. So you're thinking of this as like it's a surge, a sensational surge in regards to a positive, pleasurable sensation that's bringing your child into the world.
So basically, what they do with these, because she sent me a video and information on how to communicate with her through this process, and what they do is they want the terminology to trick your mind to thinking that this is a easy, smooth process, instead of making it painful, hurtful, panicky, or whatever. So the terminology you use through the process is very critical.
Yeah, and instead of push, they use breathe. So breathe, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're breathing life into the world. And so that's why I always say it's like really critical where you're focusing on your breath. So you're not pushing, you're breathing. And every breath is when my flower would bloom even more. And when it got to that point where like he was coming, it was like it felt amazing to like when his head started to form out and come out of my like it felt euphoric knowing he was coming, and it didn't hurt. More so, it just felt like I had a massive shit that I was trying to push out of my vagina. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like
for me, right? So any man out there can relate to this, right? Anytime you see a woman in any kind of pain, hurt, all you want to do is take that pain away, right? And you cannot in this situation. You can't. So you're just sitting there giving the best support you can do without being able to do anything to take the pain away. So, for me, it felt as though even though I was there, I felt helpless. Like I couldn't do anything to take the pain or take the, whatever you call it, the hurt away to make her feel better. She just had to go through it. And I mean, I tell you, like, just to see her strength in that time.
And another thing too, if you listen to the words he's saying, I couldn't stand to see the pain she was in and the pain she's going through. When I was trying to tell him the whole time, like I wasn't in pain. There was no pain. But he in his mind there was pain, but there was no pain. And he, again, he'll share a little bit more in a little bit, but continuing different positions and having my doula rub on me to the point where basically there were so many times where he was almost here. They're like push, and like these pushes, you guys, like I was like coming up onto the pole like this, bringing my legs up onto the other side of the pool, and like really like literally like coming like this, like working to get him into the world.
She turned into
I felt like after giving birth I had a full upper body workout from just working to get him into the world. And there was a point where I felt frustrated because there was always like, you're almost there, he's almost there, just push a little, like breathe a little bit harder, just one more. And like I'm telling you, the breathing part, that was the most challenging part, because you're using so much of your energy to breathe him into this world. And when you're like almost there, and like always after like the fourth or fifth breath, I was just like so exhausted. I had to catch my breath before going back into it. And every time we were almost there.
Yeah.
It got to the point where basically the water was cold, and we had to like transition out of the water because it would have been too cold for him to come.
This part was wild, right? So when that part happened, when it was like, okay, you know what, the water temperature starting to drop a little bit lower than the midwife wanted it to, so we had to get out. She got out the water with half of Adele, our baby's head, coming out. So basically, there was half a head out of the vajayjay as she was getting out of the water.
And mind you guys, I didn't see any of this. Like I was in a trance.
Tell me, how would you react to that?
Okay. Okay. And I started pushing around 8:30. No, 8:30. 9:30.
I know it was a solid 2.5 hour push.
So I would say like I think it was like 9:30 is like when he was really coming, and he came at 11:20. So between like 9:30ish in the morning to 11:20 when he came, that's how long I was actually breathing him into to the world. So when I had a transfer, they obviously had to help me out. I could feel him. They're like, "Do you want to feel his head?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to feel him until he is here." And so at that point, I attempted to like stand and like squat him out, okay? But obviously my legs were like, she's like, "If you're gonna do that, let's go ahead and get in the bed." So I got in the bed, and I'll try to attempt to show you guys. So I got in the bed, and then I'm like this, like on a pillow, and then I'm like squatting to, breathe him out. I attempted that, and that position wasn't working the way I wanted to, and so then this was the last position. This was like, okay, it's go time. She actually turns the midwife. I asked her, I was like, what is another position to get him here? Because I was just ready for him to come, because I was like, my energy was getting lower and lower.
Let me just integrate some other things that was going on, right? So the woman transforms their mind into this place that as a man you will never be able to go to, right? Because she's in this trance almost where she's breathing, she's wailing, she's making these adjustments to her body, and you just don't know what to say or do at that time. You just like, look, baby, let's go, keep this going, keep going. You're just giving her as much affirmation, as positive energy you possibly can. But it was just, and then there was this one time when they said push, and she went to the Hulk. She was like, I was like, no, whoa. I did not even know what to do. And look, let me tell you, it will make you think about your woman completely differently, right? Because seeing her in that light, in that level of strength, look, I don't want no smoke with her ever. Ever.
But that's what I was about to tell you guys. So one of the things my doula also taught me in regards to anytime I was pushing or breathing, she said, think of a mama bear, and so it was like like that, and literally that noise of like I'd breathe, and then when I would go like breathe him out, it was like like that. And if women, just try it real quick. Just try that through the nose. And like just feel how much your abs and core contracts where you're actually breathing him into the world. And so I actually ended up losing my voice. I'm finally getting it back. And so the position that brought Adele into the world, I can't really I do have shorts underneath this, but so I literally had like my hand like this over one leg, right? And then another nurse was helping me here. And then another nurse was basically pulling up this leg, and I was like almost like lifting my body. And at this point, this is what the nurse said. She said, okay, his heart rate is at 200. He's under stress. We need him here. And then she said, when the doctor said this is when she just went. She went to a whole nother level. But right before this, she noticed like we're going to have to. I said I did not want an episiotomy, but she said because of where it's at, we're going to need to slightly cut you. It's going to be really small. It's going to be really minor. So we're going to need to cut you. So she did do a minor cut. Again, this did not hurt. While she was doing the cut, she was also massaging my pineal muscle with her fingers. The whole time, I was like, So mind you, I didn't feel any of this. I was just such in a trance. So she's like stretching out my vagina. She does a little cut. And as soon as she does that, and then at that moment, she's like, this is the time. You need to give it all you have. And I thought for a second, okay, he's under stress. That made me stress. And at that point, that is where I did like 6 incredible hawk breaths, is what he likes to call it. And on that 6th one is when he came into the world. And when I tell you sense of release and hearing him just seeing him come out and then putting him on my chest immediately, I just started crying my eyes out. The fact that he was here and he was breathing and he started crying, and of course what I wanted was him to stay on my chest and have the cord continue to pulse until it stopped on its own. But because he had so much liquid inside of him that they had to take him away immediately, and Aaron had to cut him. And what had happened, this is why he did not come out sooner. So we have every time we go to the ultrasound, he always had his hand like this, every ultrasound. So his hand was like this the day of delivery, and so that is why he didn't come out so easily. So it's like she had to cut me because like his hand was here. When they pulled him out, his hand was just glued to his face, and of course that was not going to be coming out of my vagina.
Let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you, this is for my fellas right now, right? When when you see your woman's beautiful part that you admire, you take care of, that's your part too. That you know what I mean. You see all that, and you see it being cut. It'll make you think about that whole part completely different. Like, women are just built so incredibly. I just can't believe it. But yeah, that whole experience of seeing him actually come out. I mean, it takes your breath away. It fills you with emotion. It gives you such a sense of relief that it's finally over, and it's a beautiful moment. It really is.
Yeah, so it was really beautiful. He was here. He was healthy. They washed him up. I stayed in the hospital 3 days, and then we actually did end up. Someone did ask, like, we have to go to the NICU? So he didn't actually have to go to the NICU, but he did have slight jaundice.
Yeah.
And so I did have to stay in the hospital an extra for 5 days where they did the light treatment, and like now he's fine. So jaundice is very common for babies who are born a week or two early. So nothing abnormal about that. But now he's healthy. Now he's home. Now we're here.
And I was trying to articulate to her in words the experience, like how it. I mean, it was incredible. It was just, to see a woman's strength. I mean, you see it on a day-to-day basis when she's doing everything she's doing as a wife around the house and, taking care of the things that she takes care of. But when you see the strength of a woman when she has your child, it makes your whole perspective change on how this woman does things, what she's about, how she handles her body. I mean, it's real. It's real. So, I can't give nothing but props to you, honey. You did that. And I remember when you first told me you wanted to do it, and I was like, nah. We don't need to have nothing natural. Let's just go in there, do it smooth and easy, and get up and get out of there. It's not about you. It's about him coming into this world nice and easy. So we had many talks about it. And then from seeing her do this, I don't know if I would, granted, it was hard to see, but I don't know if I went it any other way. It was definitely a life-changing thing to see from your woman.
Yeah, and then someone did ask, did we stay at the birthing center for 3 days or go to the hospital? So the great thing about Wellstar North Fulton Hospital is they have a birthing center within the hospital. So essentially, like, you are in a hospital, but in like the birthing center where everything takes place. Versus Atlanta Birth Center, it's a birthing center. If anything happens, you would have to be transported to a hospital. And because this was my first child, I wanted to make sure I was actually in a hospital if anything did happen. And later, the next child, maybe we'll have a home birth.
The next child. Oh, we still talking.
Okay, I want to have one more. Right. But after this experience, Aaron was like, I don't know if I want to have another one. I don't know if I can go through that again. And this is what I told him. I said, listen, you don't have to be in the room. I'll just have my doula. I don't need you there. Like, for real.
She's big talking.
No,
right
for real. I want to have another child. If he can't handle the natural birth, then he can stay home. That's okay with me.
Yeah.
And my doula will be right there with me. Jennifer, I'll be hiring you again. So.
But nah, I mean, it was just, we felt like with current times, a lot of people having babies right now. We was all stuck in the house last year, and we ain't had nothing else to do, so we was making babies, right? So we felt like with current times, it would just be right to give y'all an understanding of the experience, especially people that don't have kids. That aspire to have kids, and don't get me wrong, there's all different scenarios. There's times where babies are breached, umbilical cords and all that, so there are different situations. But if you can go 100% natural, and this is coming from someone that had no understanding of it, I 100% recommend it.
Yes, so ladies, natural is possible. Painless natural birth is possible. So you mentally prepare, you visualize, you practice. I highly recommend studying hypno birthing. I highly recommend the books. They will be posted in the description below. I highly recommend listening to morning affirmations and
birth plan.
Creating that
birth plan.
Creating that birth plan.
Yeah.
Along with being mindful of your energy, your mood, what you're eating. Exercise is going to be really key. Doing those pelvic thrusts and just really preparing your body to deliver this life into the world. And it goes back to preparation, mindset, visualization. Those three things.
Well, I joke now. Right? The joke in the house is, look, if I saw my wife down the alley, right, and she was about that business, ready to give someone that, yo, I was like, yo, babe, you ready? Cause look, after seeing her go through that, I don't even gotta be that guy no more. Look, my woman will take care of you. My woman will take care of you.
He's so silly, you guys. I've never been in a fight. I never will be in a fight. I'm not a fighter like that.
I'm just talking.
I know.
But nah, seriously, it's just amazing. A woman's strength is amazing. Us compared to women, there's no comparison. No comparison.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So I hope we answered all of your questions. I think we did. I try to, write most of them out. But yeah. Someone asked about cost. So there is insurance that covers natural birth. Not every insurance does. Ours does. So you can pay out of pocket, but there are insurances that cover it. You have to just check with your insurance. So I made sure to check with our insurance well ahead of time to make sure that it would be covered.
Yeah. And congratulations to all you new moms and new dads out there that are tuned in right now. We definitely understand the hard work that you're putting in. So much love to you on that. And I just want to give a shout out to, all y'all that just show love. You know what I mean? Whether it was through messaging or sending gifts. We got so many.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
We got too much stuff almost.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we feel extremely blessed for all the love, all the support.
Much love. Thank you.
All the blessings and prayers. And I know like the past week everyone was like, are you guys okay? We haven't heard anything. And it was really just we wanted to take the time to enjoy our baby. And now this is like where the true journey begins, y'all, because like
real
no
work.
Sleep is real.
No sleep. That's why we both look all tired, right?
Thankfully my mom is here. She's watching him right now while we're here on this live. And I'll be calling my girlfriends Ashley, my sister Deetra, just because like this is a new journey for both of us, especially for me. My first child, our second child.
I mean, it's number 2, right? But 13 years, it kind of brainwashes you. And there's so many new things that are going on in the baby market today that weren't happening 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. Shoot, all I used to know was just to rock him, give him a pacifier back then, and now it's different. So they got, what's it called, a snoo? We got a snoo?
Yes, we got a snoo, which helps rock him to sleep on his own.
It's wild.
It will
they
listen
got so
to his
many
cry
things nowadays.
and then
and look, and we appreciate those wise women that have had babies back in the day. We love y'all advice because y'all give those simple remedies that do so many great things. So thank you for sharing that as well.
Yeah, so again, we hope you found this useful and helpful.
Yeah.
We've also talked about, so we just wanted to ask since we're live here, we've talked about maybe coming live like once or twice a month, just sharing insights about like our relationship, this marriage, now that we have a child, and just family life and just tips.
I know y'all saw me on that show, Ready to Love, right? And that was just entertainment, all right? But there's some real talk that we can have when it comes to relationships, and I'll be open to sharing it. I'll be open to sharing it because relationships are not easy to number one get into, and then when you get into it, to keep it and maintain it, it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. So it's good when you hear from everyday people, what are they doing to get to that level that you may want to be at. So we're open to sharing. Yeah,
so if you would love that, let us know. Hearts, comment below. And then Jamie, yes, definitely. If your epidural, it does cause back pains and leg pains later. Yeah. There's so many women that I know who are still experiencing,
I got family that
pain after birth. So highly recommend water birth for your next one if you can. And yes, we will. Again, if you want to hear more about, just relationships, tips and advice overall, let us know. Again, drop some hearts, drop some hundreds. And we will make sure to do that. It will most likely be on Thursdays versus on Mondays. That is his day off. So I think if this Thursday works for you,
we can figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll share with you guys. We'll ask your feedback.
Hey, look, if you ever want to come over to babysit,
no,
we're open to it. Let us know. Come through. I'm just
No. But again, thank you guys all for being here.
Thank you so much.
It is getting to my shift time to take a nap where he takes over so I can get some sleep.
I'm hands on right now, so it's time to go. We love y'all.
So we love you guys. Thank you so much. Again, any questions, let us know in the comments below. And beautiful blessings to every single mother out there on your journey. If you have a natural water birth or whatever birth you may have, just know that you are beautiful, you are blessed, And women, we are the most powerful beings on this planet. The fact that we can deliver life. So many blessings to all of you guys.
I agree. The Cotter rules. We love you.
Love y'all.
Peace.